So yeah, I was just thinking about this idea of momentum, and yeah, I think it's a really important concept where it's helpful in work life, but also in your personal life, and it's this thing where there might be a win comes along, and or progressive incremental wins, little wins all the time, and it's this thing of acknowledging that to yourself and thinking, oh, that's good that we got that in the bag, be it in work or be it in your personal life or be it on the fitness front. But it is also thinking, well, let's enjoy the moment a little bit, and reflect on that and put that in the bag of resources that you can reflect on what you've managed to do. But what's next, And there's this element of like, I'm, for example, at this like 115, 116 kilos mark now, which is pretty nice, in some ways, but and it's, I'm happy about that, and it is good to reflect this morning again on that after a year and stuff of efforts and stuff, and longer than that efforts. But it is also thinking, well, what do I want to do next, and what can I do to kind of keep the momentum going with what I'm doing? And there's this element where it can be helpful sometimes to reflect on role models in our life, or potentially role models just in society, or people, potentially historical people or famous people, or just people that of and kind of think about. Sometimes it can be a little bit like, well, what do I want to emulate about this, this person, or is it worth me reflecting on actually what they managed to do and how they managed to do it, because we can often be like limiting ourselves, and kind of talking ourselves down, or not really seeing what we're capable of, and there's this aspect where personally I would like to know what I am capable of on a fitness front, in different ways, and yes, that might be limited by age and old injuries and all sorts of stuff to a certain extent, but there's very inspiring people, like if I go park run, there's 80 odd year olds that run around there, jog around there every week, and they've got 250 park runs, and they're still at it every Saturday morning, and if you look at their legs, they've got varicose veins, they've got they're going really slow sometimes, but you don't need to look very far for inspiration sometimes, like it's just at your local park run, there's going to be people down there cracking on, but it also might be like finding out, what do these sports figures do, and it's like these, I forget the name of them, but basketball players and stuff, they're out there every morning grinding it out, taking 1,000 shots a day on the basket, on the hoop to get better, and it might be that we set ourselves something like, oh, well, I'm gonna go and shoot some hoops 3 times a week or something, but probably around the limits of progress is that 1,000 hoops a day, and we struggle sometimes to bag something, but then keep it going, you know, and it can be a bit like, oh, time to rest now and sit on my laurels a little bit. I've done this and that, and that's fine, you know. But there is this aspect of, well, now that I'm at this level, what's next? You know, what's next? How could I push the frontier back further, you know? And it is good to have a rest and a chill, you know. I'm a big fan of that. I go and jump in the sauna and all that and have my little snoozes and stuff. But also, it's a little bit like, right, how cool will it be if I find out what happens after 50 sessions of gym in it, you know, with the weights or body weight stuff, you know. Something that's kind of new to me in some ways, you know, because I've always been like, when I was younger, I was a lot fitter on that front with just chopping wood or moving heavy things, you know. But city living doesn't afford that, you know. There's not a lot of natural weightlifting involved in life, you know. So this idea of like, yes, we've made progress on X and Y, but how do we then think, right, what's next, and kind of quickly reassess things and think, right, well, I'm at this level now, it's good job, but also, how do I forge ahead, you know? How can I can get inspiration for a new challenge as such? But anyway, have a good one.